Nathan Brown of Big 12 Mafia. Is Brett Yormark on the defensive again at some point? If what many have murmured is going to happen, this Pangea of college football where teams just hodgepodge into two major conferences, does Yormark have to start defending a Kansas who's been rumored to the SEC? Recently, a USA Today outlet posted about Utah and TCU being expansion candidates for the Big Ten. When do you have to hug around and say, look, everybody stay close?
It goes back to that big numbers game. I don't think there's money there to expand past 20 schools, which would leave TCU.
I don't mean to. I don't.
Go ahead.
I'll pause you here. Will there ever be? You know, we keep talking about how right now, right? Will there ever be?
I was just going to say that. So that's
Great
okay.
minds.
So the idea that these billion-dollar media deals will continue to happen and happen and happen, we might possibly over the next 30 years have seen the last billion-dollar deal with the Big Ten. All the money is leaving entertainment. It's running for cover in sports entertainment. It's amazing. ESPN continues to lose. They're the grand poobah of all college football, right? They continue to lose subs. So money is running away from sports, even though college football is like at the top with the NFL. So it's like you're looking at and you're bipolar. You see, yes, it's never been more popular, but there's not enough money to sustain. So in my opinion, no, I don't think so. Utah, TCU, you can throw anybody on that list. Could they be an eventually candidate when they go to 48 schools? Of course. There's no school in the Big 12 that wouldn't be on that 48 team list. You would basically be vetted, and then maybe they bring you in if the money's ever there. I don't think the money's going to be there for quite a while. Look at all the money that's going out the door now. You got the House versus NCAA, $2.8 billion. That's all going to have to be put on the backs of the schools. That money isn't just going to come out of nowhere. So where do they get that on an annual basis? Then you have all the lawsuits that have to do with the player representation and our players' employees. And if they are, how is NIL administered? And all these things. We're a long way away from there being a big money grab and team grab in these leagues. I think the Big Ten goes to 20. I think the SEC at the very most ever goes to 20. I don't even think they ever get past that. And it's possible they only go with 2, depending on what happens at North Carolina and North Carolina State. So, no, I don't. I mean, it's great for those fans. I mean, I would love to hear in a sentence by some creator that BYU's imminent to the SEC. Right. But it just because it makes me feel good for about 5 minutes. If anybody has really been paying attention, there's not enough money to support these teams moving over.
There's an article from Forbes in 2022 that says, why do sports rights continue to go up while viewership goes down? The World Series is down 30%. The NBA Finals are down 30%. People are watching sports less. The only thing that seems to be up is the Super Bowl, the greatest social event that the United States puts on every single year. That being said, Bill Connolly of ESPN still went on Sports Fan 1080 this week. There was a great piece on Heartland College Sports about it and said, I think the Big 12 is bold enough to expand to 32. I said that's impossible. No. What do you say?
No, look, if you have the ability to, you go into the schoolyard and you can pick the best 10 guys to be on your war ball team, right? Are you going to pick the 5 guys that they're got the best arms, they're baseball players, and then you're going to moderate and you're going to pick the kids that aren't the most athletic, that like spending their time at home reading or playing video games? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to pick the 10 best athletes to be on your team. It's not what is the word? I can't even think of the word. It's not like you have to bring everybody up just because you're required to. Chance that the Big 12 goes past 20 is very, very small. If they go to even 24, that still leaves out all those other schools that might be coming in. I think the 32 idea was because they want to keep the ACC together with the Big 12. That merger idea is ridiculous because you want Baylor to make more money. You don't want Baylor to take less money to add more schools that actually are less dedicated to the sports you care about, because all it does is weaken what you look like. Your guilt is by association now. And we know the schools. I don't need to call them out. The ones in the ACC that they're probably not going to get an invite, at least at this iteration right now.
I'll call them out. You're Wake Forest. If you're Wake Forest, you probably aren't in a great spot as it sits.
Right.
And I'll actually put a pause in my questioning here to talk about that. The idea of a Big 12 ACC merger, the reason that I think there is truly no way at the very base level why there's no way it happens is Brett Yormark believes he has leverage right now. Jim Phillips has the opposite. The one of them is on the offensive and the other is on his toes. And that's the guy who's being sued by the attorney general in Florida, Clemson, and Florida State. Do you think the opportunity for a merger is nigh because Yormark has the upper hand and within 2 years could say, oh, I want you, you, and you instead of taking all of the ACC properties?
Yes, that's it. It's 100%. Easiest way to put it. Yep.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know you would agree with me like that.
Well, I mean, when you boil it down, I mean, you think about it, why would you take on schools that lower your value? Right. There's no reason to bring in any schools that don't at least give you 31.7. I can't think of it. Nobody's been able to give me one article or point of fact that says the Big 12 by expanding to 32 actually gets more valuable. In my opinion, which isn't uneducated, it actually goes down in value if you bring in any schools past 20. I think they go to 20 and should stop. I don't even think they should go any farther than that.
Well, and this was supposed to be a conversation about the Big 12 getting poached. Now we've got the Big 12 poaching up to 32. ESPN looks at that, Fox looks at that and says, hey, wait a second, 16 of these teams are valuable. 14 of these teams are valuable. You've got 18 dead weight members that we are not making money off of. And that's a lot of that's what you're seeing in the ACC at the bottom half of the ACC. And the reason that I, again, don't think that ESPN holds on, especially at a lucrative price, past 2027. Before we get you out of here, Nathan, with that, let's thesis, bow on it. Big 12 teams are secure for now, at least, when it comes to the SEC and the Big 10 calling to try to grab schools out of this conference.
Yeah, unless somebody can show me some sort of a metric out there that says that hidden in a way room somewhere under lock and key, that all of a sudden TCU is now worth $70 million instead of $30 million.
Yeah. Nathan, where can folks find your work and honestly your network's work?
Right. So at Big 12 Mafia, you see me there, my tag underneath my picture right now. You can find me on Twitter. College Football Mafia Network. Just put that into YouTube. And we have several shows now. We're slowly growing. We're nothing like Drake is with Locked On Big 12. But we're doing okay. We're still growing. And just College Football Mafia or Big 12 Mafia on YouTube. You'll find us out.
It is. I had a fraternity brother tell me about 8 months ago, the first time he came on Locked On Big 12, he said, I don't know that Mafia guy's name, but the fact you call him Mafia was the coolest thing ever. So for the rest of the time, your moniker on the show, it's branding thing. We talk about brand value and how you your brand. And so it's Big 12 Mafia all the way. And I tell you, for the listeners of Locked On Big 12, it is the most informational place you can get a wide array of expansion news, realignment news, and even news about where the court system is taking college football and college athletics on the whole as it sits. I don't think anybody does it with deeper value than Big 12 Mafia and the family of networks. And so check out Nathan's stuff at B12 Mafia on Twitter. This has been and always will be. Thanks for making this your first listen every single day. Locked On. Come back tomorrow. We are talking even more from the courts. And thanks again for making your first listen every single day. Dose grande.